With a name like Galaxy S5 Active, you might think that this new smartphone from AT&T is really built for outdoor adventurers, but it's for everyday klutzes like me because it can stand up to all sorts of abuse. Basically, you won't need a case with a phone like this. It can withstand water, drops, sand, basically anything that you can think of. And we're going to show you just how tough this phone is. We're going to start by just dipping in a little bit of water here. The S5 Active can withstand up to 3 feet of water for 30 minutes, and we've actually shot some photos while we were in the pool. This is just an example of how it can withstand H2O. So we have it in here. You should be able to activate the device afterwards and just wipe it off and keep going. And what we like about this is that unlike the regular S5, you can use this camera on the side, but using the activated key that is right next to the volume controls. So you can use this to long press to activate the camera. And while you're underwater, you can use the shortcut because you can't use the screen. So while we wipe this off, let's show you how else this thing can take some abuse. And while we're doing that, let's also show you the camo color that's available. You can also get this in titanium. There's a lot of different options here in terms of the color, so we like that. And this one actually shows off the toughness a little bit without being too much in your face. So another thing that the S5 Active can do is withstand drops from up to 4 feet, and we've marked off the wall here. We've done this before, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so the bad news is that the cover popped off, so did the battery, but there aren't any scratches on the phone, and when we put it all back together, it'll be just fine and in working order. So one of the complaints that we have about the S5 Active is that when this does pop off, when you drop it, you have to put it back together, and you have to be really careful when you're doing that, and it does give you access to the battery as well as the SIM card and micro SD. When you put this in, you have to be really careful to make sure that you secure it all the way around. Otherwise, you're not going to get that water resistance. But once you do, you'll be able to appreciate all the features that this has, which the Galaxy S5 already gives you. That includes a 16 megapixel camera on the back, as well as a a heart rate monitor right here that you can use to monitor your heart rate after exercise. And on the front, you have dedicated buttons that are physical as opposed to capacitive on the S5. And that's actually a good thing because you get the physical feedback, which is really good when you're outdoors. You don't have to guess as to what's here. What you're giving up is a built-in fingerprint reader, which the regular S5 has, but that's definitely a worthy trade-off. In terms of the overall design, you're looking at what we think is a pretty good aesthetic here because you have on the left and the right-hand side these hand grips, which makes this phone pretty easy to grip. You do have a slightly bigger design than you do with the S5, but again, we're willing to live with that. Other specs include a quad-core processor from Snapdragon, and Qualcomm gives you a lot of speed here, 2 gigs of RAM. And the best thing about this is that you get 9.5 hours of battery life. So not only do you not have to get a case, but you get something with serious staying power in terms of everyday endurance. So when you add it all up, the S5 Active from AT&T is one of the best values on the carrier because you're getting something that is very durable, fast, you have a great camera, a display that you can see outdoors, and something that can stand up to everyday abuse. So this is one phone that is definitely going to last the life of that 2-year contract. With Laptop Mag, this is Mark Spoonhour.